Recently, YouTuber Mutahar of Some Ordinary Gamers has gotten into controversy when YouTuber Nikandros put out a video against him accusing him of lying about his status of being an engineer for the last 10 years. Nikandros compiles a bunch of different clips of Mutahar saying various titles that he holds, such as software engineer, computer engineer, video engineer, etc, etc. And Nikandros also puts together a timeline of events for what he believes to be Mutahar's adult life, using various statements he's made in videos, live streams, podcast appearances, and more. And according to his research, the timeline doesn't really add up. In response to this, Mutahar actually banned the word engineer from his comment section, and also got an unexpected call from Keemstar while Keem was live on air, and when asked about the allegations, he told Keem to call him off stream. Welcome to the internet versus Mutahar. To start, I recommend you watch Nikandros' video if you haven't already. It'll be linked in the description. And of course, whenever Mutahar puts out a response as well, we will also cover that. But it starts when Nikandros tweets out his video saying, Mutahar has been calling himself an engineer for the past 10 years. Is he one? And Taylor quote tweets it saying, literally everyone in cybersecurity is a fraud. Like, holy shit. This theory is proven right over and over and over and over. DarkSideFlow quote tweets the video and says, I knew I was right to be suspicious about Mutahar all along. He probably came into Canada as a fake international student who simply never left. He just snuck under everyone's radar with his fake Texas accent. He's been LARPing this entire time. And Nikandros continues to tweet out, as funny as you guys think you're being, I'd really prefer if you didn't go and leave engineer-related puns in Mutahar's comments. Makes it look like a harassment campaign. And it's C replying, I was waiting for an engineer's opinion on fuel refining. And Brandon says, half of your videos are about the guy in a negative light. I think you're doing the harassment part on your own. At least be a man about it, regardless of the validity of your content. And Nikandros says, those videos aren't making any direct contact with him. I just publish media about someone. He can ignore it or not. People going to him and stuff isn't so simple. Bitter Lee says in our members only Discord, at least with Pirate Software, we know he's been in the industry for 20 years with 6 months of experience. The Sonic Shroom tweets out, saw that video about how Mutahar has been falsely claiming he's an engineer for like 10 years and my mind is blown. I stopped watching him ages ago, but how could I not notice? Did he really think installing Linux makes you an engineer? And Whoosh replies, I always thought he was a securities researcher. And Shroom says, he coded phone apps for like 6 months and is a college dropout. Crusader replies, the Indian equivalent of I worked at Blizzard. And Shroom says, hey, at least Thor actually has a degree and did actually work at Blizzard. Muta just seems to be a guy who dropped out of CS, not an engineering degree by the way, and now flips property and crypto. And it's all good, man replies, he worked at Blizzard because of his daddy and never got a degree. Him and Mutahar are kind of the same. Akuma replies with this picture of Mutahar wearing the Sonichu medallion and says, should have never put it on. Bames John replies, maybe he should have just admitted he uses YouTube as a job and nobody would care. Outside of his detractors maybe, I don't know. Nicholas Duorio quote tweets Truman says, he's gonna respond to this, right? If he is an engineer, this would be almost effortless to disprove and it's gotten too big to pretend he hasn't seen it. I've seen people say Mutahar doesn't owe you anything, which is obviously a total cope response, but they're also completely missing the point. This video got absurdly spammed at me on Discord, YouTube, and Twitter, just to even react on stream when it had under 10k views. Now that it's popped off, Mutahar is probably getting fucking flooded. The funniest part is Muta's freak fans calling Nikandros a stalker or harmful opinions like racist. Let's say for the sake of discussion that those statements are true. How would that impact their evidence of public Facebook posts and contradictory clips? It's the Keffel's video Kiwi Farmer thumbnail controversy all over again. And then he adds Mutahar saying, happy to clear this up on stream if there's some kind of misinfo being spread about you. Any insight would be great. To Rambar replies, oh boy, me Mutahar here. Turns out I didn't dot my I's and cross my T's in that engineering degree. Before I get into the meat and potatoes of this, I want you to remember that at the end of the day, basically, that YouTube is not my job. NPC Ye Wu Tang quotes Truman says, IT tech is one of those things you don't need a degree for. It's something you can learn yourself. I don't know why people think having a degree matters. As a teen, my bestie was the neighborhood IT guy, all self-taught. Knew all the ins and outs of everything but a girl. Moneyfolder tweets out, I don't particularly care that Mutahar is a college dropout or any of that. I do think it's insanely embarrassing to lie about your career for a decade straight so you can impress teenagers online. DarkSideFlow then tweets out, Mutahar has banned the word engineer from his YouTube comment section. Not suspicious at all. And the Beef replies, I just can't understand why Mutahar is as popular as he is. His content is just him in front of a camera saying the same shit over and over for 30+ minutes. I can't think of a more boring content content creator. And DarkSideFlow replies, I think he used to do some decent investigation style videos on various deep web topics, but the last few years it seems like all he does is insert himself into literally every YouTube drama, basically following the Keem playbook. Now he just talks about his ROG ally all day. And then over on r/YouTube drama, Marinchin also posts a Nikandros video and captions it, this video makes some very good points with receipts regarding what Mutahar's actual qualifications are, and especially his contradictory statements from the past on that, and I would like to see the community's take on it. I don't think this disqualifies his tech content's quality, but as someone who likes his tech videos, this seems like something I would like him to make a clear statement on at least. And Sanchi Pincini replies, man, I remember Mutahar doing Ao Oni gameplay vids and deep web dives back in the day. Should have stuck with that. And Ferdfan says, fell off when he became Penguin Zero, but with 3x the video length and half the juice. And Deep Submerge says, I don't know how this guy gained any audience. He's so annoying and always on his high horse about everything. And Time Aberdolf replies, when he did just creepypasta and tech stuff, it was a lot easier. He is second wave YouTube. So he got big during a time a lot of YouTubers we now know are problematic did. It is almost like a quality they need to have. He probably would have skated by for years if he never got into the drama/commentary space. And Deep Submerge says, they can't resist the drama/commentary yap. The Wanderer says, I could care less about the video itself, but has anyone looked at the comment section of that video? It's awful. Nearly 90% of it is just, wow, Indian guy's a scammer, when he isn't and never even called a scammer in the video. Like, tell me you're racist without telling me you're racist. I feel like the creator should actually moderate his comments or at least get rid of blatant racism. Over on our SomeOrdinaryGamers, the username also posts Nikandros' video, and the Luke replies, I work in IT as a dev and watch Muta's videos since around a year. I never had any moments of doubt. He never gave bad recommendations about cybersecurity or tech in general, so I don't care what he really does for a living. I know his advice is legit industry standard. And Flesh is Weak replies, honestly, this seems like trying to create drama for drama's sake. Can't really force myself to care, at least not yet. Euphoric Schedule says, Muta never clarifies what he does and specifically keeps his personal life largely private. This guy, you're a fraud. Sure looks like grifting. And Grievous Dance replies, this Nikandros guy has been rent-free about Muta for almost a year now. His first couple videos never got views and boom, he got this Muta grift. And Nice River replies, let me guess, commentary spurg mad over Nux? Sensitive Moose says, Muta doesn't post details about his private life on the internet. OP, you see this guy? He's a big fat phony. And some plebit user replies, showing your credentials isn't that deep into your private life. Middle Influence says, I just saw this, and a lot of the older drama stuff with Nux in the podcast I think was either a reach or not a big deal. But this video seems to have some actual points. It shows a bunch of stream and podcast clips where he says things about himself that don't really seem to line up. I understand that he wants some level of privacy, but you could easily just not talk about it. I hope he makes a response because I genuinely want him to have a good explanation for this. And Little Signature replies, haven't watched it and probably won't because I'll just wait for the Muta response vid and then I only have to watch one vid. Lol. That's how I deal with most of these. And then if he doesn't make a response, then I'll watch the original vid in like a month. And Retro Casket replies, what a great way to get your info. By filtering it through the subject it's being critical of. Big brain move. Then Nikandros tweets out this clip with the caption, Keemstar calls Mutahar on stream. Mutahar claims to be in the middle of something. Could it be engineering? Scratching his balls? 9 to 5?
Hey, we're on stream, just so you know. I basically want to know, what is this drama about you lied about being an engineer and stuff?
The customers call me like off stream. I don't understand in the middle of something.
Here. I could call you off stream, but I just thought maybe like if it's...
Hold on. I gotta take care of some stuff, so I didn't know I was on stream.
So you want me to call you off stream?
Yeah, later. I'm just in the middle of something.
Alright, sounds good.
He then clarifies, I'm so 2x brained I forgot this was sped up. Trippy Grinch replies, the walls are closing in. Spondau quotes a post that Mutahar made the other day where he said, while researching the T app, I can confirm it did in fact get a data breach, which is something that we've also covered on this channel. And he says a bunch of selfies and driver license have gotten leaked that were stored in a publicly available bucket. Wild stuff, video in a couple hours. And Spondau said, Mutahar using his expert engineer opinion by checking the Twitter trending tab. And Jonkler replies, too bad he won't be able to make a video on this because YouTube is only a side project and he is a boss that works a 9 to 5. Vicky tweets out this picture with the caption, bruh. It's a video by Gamma where the thumbnail says, liar, fraud, Indian in red text. And Gamma replies, hi. I just have to make it clear that the video ain't racist. I just thought Indian in big red letters would be funny and work in the algorithm. And Nikandros replies, pussy. Laterally focused things posted this screenshot of Turkey Tom's thumbnails where it says losers, creeps, peas in the caption. Keep in mind this is a parody of this. Malticious replies saying Indian in all red as if it's the worst one. Harmful Opinions tweets out, taking a quick look into the Mutahar rabbit hole on my own before watching Nikandros' video on tonight's stream. What the fuck? I had no idea about this guy's lore.
I'll be honest with you guys, I have a reason to live, really, and that's you all. That's, you know, might sound grim, you know, you might be like, what are you trying to say? No, That's the truth. You know, I have a reason to really go on living, you know what I mean? Other than that, what else did I have forward to look to in my life?
Coco screenshots the video and captions it by saying, "Centrist grifter down. I don't really give a shit about YouTube drama slop content, but it feels refreshing to see him get fucked over by his fan base. For those who want to save time and don't want to watch a KF Shill's video about him, apparently he got caught lying about his profession, career, and his studies in college for over a decade now, and now his audience is turning on him. Honestly, the fact it took people to realize that he was a fraud because he was dishonest about his career and studying, instead of the other bad shit he's done, is really crazy. Mutahar just sucks." And No Frequency says, "What else did Muta do?" And Coco says, "He's just a fence setter, drama slop YouTuber nowadays who does not put anything valuable onto the table, especially on certain topics like when X2C got called out for reacting to clips of Gaza getting bombed. The guy also associates himself with other really weird grifting type people, including people who have said transphobic shit." Shout out to our tier 3 members, internet representatives Kiko, Salsoud, Coldest Bandito, Captain Crashout, and 19 Kilometers. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I'll see you all in the next episode.